Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Splatoon 2 Octo expansion commentary. In this part, we finish line B. I believe I did them all in alphabetical order, but I also recorded this over a year ago, so I could be very, very wrong.
A year ago, I did God of War like 2.5 years ago, and we still need to do that.
Oh, dude. It was like Mega Man 7 or 8? Maybe it was 9, I don't remember. But we did that something like 8 or 9 years after we recorded it, didn't we?
No.
Okay. All right.
It's like I don't think so.
Because I remember that we did have a commentary of yours that was like at least 5 years old at some point. Oh yeah, this level's interesting because as you attack, you break the ground you're standing on. So you can't just like shoot wildly like you normally would.
So like, this level is definitely on my bucket list now.
Oh, the Tri-Slosher. Oh, God damn it. Tri-Slosher. Funny story about the Tri-Slosher. This was considered the most OP weapon when the game launched, just because it's like you don't really have to aim all that great because it's a bucket. You just kind of throw and then you hit people, and it has wider ranges than the other buckets because it has 3 things and it does good damage. So people considered this to be the most overpowered weapon in the game for like 4 months. And then they nerfed it just a tiny bit, and then people were like, no, this weapon sucks now. And nobody really uses it competitively. At least last time I checked. I mean, granted, I haven't really been following competitive Splatoon for over a year.
In what way?
I don't know if maybe Tri-Slosher is OP again.
In what way did they nerf it?
I believe they shortened kind of its range so it's not as wide, and they reduced the damage that it does. Because if I remember correctly, it pretty reliably could hit in 2 shots, no matter where you hit them. And I believe they kind of messed with its damage value so that if you kind of got hit sideways by it, then you didn't take as much damage, so that you generally would more reliably need to get killed if you got hit by 3 shots.
So now it's less of a bucket-shaped shotgun.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
I mean, they did add a shotgun-type weapon into this game with the Brellas, but Brellas, unfortunately, are not super good when playing online because there's not a lot of lag in Splatoon, but there is some. And a lot of the time, the thing about the Brella is it's like a shotgun, but if you hold down the button, you open up the umbrella and there's like a shield. But because there's lag, a lot of the times shots will just go through your shield and you'll die anyway. So it's one of those things that's generally better if you're playing it on LAN play than if you're playing it online.
It's also one of those defensive play in shooters is usually never the way to go.
The Splatoon skews very aggressive, and a lot of that's due to the movement. You move very quickly in this game, and the way that you go around in the ink and whatnot benefits a very offensively minded playstyle a lot of the time.
That's kind of a trait of older shooters in particular. Doom, Wolfenstein. Your movement was fast, so the most effective way, and there wasn't really a cover system in those older games either, so the most effective thing to do was to just move around and shoot a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where the infamous shoot it till it dies tip comes from in Doom 2, I think.
Yeah.
What, they give you a tip and it's just shoot it until it dies?
Basically, yes.
And then, Modern Warfare came out, and they wanted to be more realistic, kind of, but not really. So it became more about slower movement, cover systems, that kind of thing.
It's weird in that around the time where realism became such a prized thing in gaming, video games came up with you get hit and then you hide behind a wall until the jelly wipes off your face kind of health system, which is the least realistic thing about it. Like I remember actually back in 2006 when they were doing Nintendo Power articles about the launch games for the Wii. I believe one of them was Call of Duty 3. And they mention at some point where it's like, this game is going for realism. If you get shot, you can't just pick up a health pack and be fine. I might be misremembering this. This was a long time ago.
The idea was that the idea was that it was always a bit ridiculous that you could get shot a whole bunch of times and not die in older shooters. So they implemented a system where you'd get shot just a few times and die. But because Rainbow Six existed by then, we already knew that that made for a very punishing and unforgiving experience. So they implemented health regen to sort of balance it out. And the result was that, yeah, in the heat of the moment, you can die very, very fast, as you would in a shootout situation. But you also have Weapon X healing powers for some reason.
Well, I think that the game that it first became really popular in was Halo. And when you're in a sci-fi game, you can whatever, like
You,
that,
yeah,
that
you
doesn't
can sort of
Nano machines.
you can suspend your
whatever.
disbelief a bit more in Halo's in Halo's sort of setting. Yeah, I'll definitely agree. It got a bit weird when you were doing it in like realistic military settings.
Yeah, like it doesn't really make all that much sense in like a Call of Duty. Like they use a similar system in Splatoon as well, and I don't really mind it here, especially considering that again, you heal faster when you're swimming in the ink, and swimming in the ink is just basically the main conceit of the gameplay. It's like you want to control as much territory as possible because you have a large advantage in fighting when you have your area covering more of the ground. You can move faster in it, you reload, you heal, you're harder to spot, all of that. So it works really well as like a way to reward getting a good coverage of the area.
Yeah.
In this game. It's really only stuff like Call of Duty. Oh, so it is this one that they have the GameCubes. Okay. I wonder what discs in there. Is that the Game Boy Player disc? That's worth like $80 now. Okay. Distraction over.
Wait, let me see. Do they have the GameCube? Did they have the Game Boy Player attached to the bottom?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I need
Unless
to
if there
get-
was a purple one. I
I-
think there was only ever the black one.
I need to get a closer look at one of these goddamn things.
Sorry, I'm looking at the level, and they are in multiple levels, though, thankfully. I mean, I think they are, because it looks a little bit... I think they do have a Game Boy Player attached to that thing.
Potentially.
Because I'm
Honestly,
looking at... They have an
honestly,
extra
what
port down there.
There's a little slot.
Honestly, what this reminds me of more than anything is Monkey Ball backgrounds.
Oh, dude. You should have heard me when I saw that the Monkey Ball games were getting remade. Like, I actually screamed. I love Monkey Ball so much.
Oh yeah, that's definitely the Game Boy Player. I can see it.
Yeah, and Monkey Ball, the Monkey Ball backgrounds are really surreal. Like there's just one where there's a random like diner in the background and whatever. There is actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the levels are obviously a lot longer, but there is a very somewhat similar, at very least aesthetic look between the old Monkey Ball games and Splatoon, where it's a lot of floating platforms in an indiscriminate space.
Is she dual wielding?
Yeah. These are the dualies. They're pretty similar to the normal guns, except you can do like a little dodge roll. It helps you get away from situations, but when you do it, you're stuck in place. So you get a little bit of extra mobility at the cost of you then have kind of a stop to your movement, and it's easier to hit you at that point.
So you gotta...
Oh god, there was some other important difference between the two of them that made multiplayer, like made it non-trivial for multiplayer, but it's been so long and I never really played much dualies because I just never could get the hang of the... Oh, actually, I remember now. It's inking. They don't really cover the ground as well as normal guns
I see.
do, which is important, especially in the normal turf war. But even in the other modes too, it's important. Making sure to cover the ground.
So
is
you're
important.
basically giving up some of your territory coverage in exchange for just pure offensive power.
Yeah, it's definitely, the weapon you want to pick if you're all about killing enemies as fast as possible.
Essentially, it's a more effective weapon in a team play situation where you could expect a specific partner to focus on covering the ground while you focus on covering the enemies.
Yeah. Splatoon, I think, is a really, really fun game to play with friends. In more so in a way, in a different way, I guess I should say, than something like Mario Kart or Smash Brothers. Because you get a fairly similar casual experience playing Splatoon free-for-alls as you do playing like Smash Brothers free-for-alls or Mario Kart. When you're just like, playing for fun and not really for stakes, because you're just kind of goofing off and having a good time. The games play differently, obviously, but it's the same sort of feeling that they all have. When you're playing Splatoon on a somewhat more serious level, and like you have a group of 4 people who are all like trying to play together as a team, it is a really fun experience in that it's a Nintendo feeling kind of multiplayer game that does have that kind of teamwork element, which doesn't really, as far as I can tell at the very least, exist in any other title. At least none that I can think of off the top of my head. Oh yeah, this level is
difficult.
Yes. You basically have to learn the timing for it, and you die.
It's better to start with the bottom and do the chain reaction up because you need to kind of make sure you get the bottom ones because they won't fall on top of each other. Whereas falling boxes have an easier time breaking on the way down.
I don't think the boxes break at all on the way down.
It's a little bit comparative to the bottom ones, but it's harder to do.
I think maybe if they fall from high enough. Yeah. Oh yeah, you can also do more than one shot if you're quick enough, even though it's called one shot station. If you're quick enough on the draw, you can get a second shot out and break the last box before CQ murders you. So, yeah, there we go. That's one that took me a long time to beat when I played the game on my own for the first time. I just couldn't get the timing down for the life of me.
Huh.
And I had no life because CQ murdered me. Also, when I said I was doing this game 100%, I mean I'm beating every station. I'm not beating every station with every weapon because that's not content. That's just padding. Okay, thanks. The game doesn't really even track that either. They just track if you beat the stage at all. There is a little check mark, I guess, next to each stage that counts what weapon you did it with, but I've already done my penance for doing more 100% than I ever needed to, so I'm gonna just take my winnings and go. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Well,
Ryan, what? I know that Lewis really hasn't played much. What? And I know that you weren't huge into Splatoon, but what weapon did you generally play, Ryan, when you
Roller,
did?
usually.
Roller? Okay.
Not that it mattered much. I think I'm kind of just... I played Splatoon, and I think I'm just kind of... Unless 3 offers a significantly expanded and robust single-player mode, I probably might even just skip 3.
That's fair. Like, not every game is for every person, I think, is another important thing to realize. Like, that's something I realized with Smash Brothers, was that I'm just not very good at it. And trying to play it more than... What I'm supposed to do is charge a shot and then let it go in midair, for the record. I don't know why I keep on thinking I need to do it with the bomb.
I don't know why you're doing that either.
one of those situations where the game makes you overthink something.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. But anyway, yeah. Like for Smash Brothers, I've just kind of accepted that I'm not good at it, and I don't think I'll ever try to be good at it. Because I remember this was more so when the Wii U 3DS game was out. I did try to be good at it, but I just found myself not having fun with it anymore. And I think it's okay to, just not play something if you don't particularly like that genre or just aren't enjoying it. And that's something that I need to tell myself all the time because I'm tired of playing games I don't like just to prove something, not even to anybody else, just to myself. Like, no thanks. I'm done doing that. That's why I stopped playing the SMT3 Nocturne recently, which is a shame because I really wanted to like that one. But like,
I mean, that was me and Mario Golf last day or two.
Yeah,
because I don't like Super Rush. It oversimplifies everything too much, and I like the way the camera and other systems worked in like the GameCube and 3DS games. And they're just like, nope, we're gonna change everything just to change everything. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna play your game then. Thanks, bye.
Yeah, I'm still having a decent time with it with Super Rush, so I am going to keep on giving it a chance. I'm more annoyed that there's no content in the game after you finish the story mode. But that's
again,
yeah,
that's another just problem Nintendo's having, where they think they can just release a game in a like 35% state done, and they're just like, oh, we'll add updates later so people will remain interested. It's like, no, we'd rather just you finish the game. Thanks.
So that's actually something that really started with Splatoon, in that Splatoon started off a little anemic on content for Splatoon 1. But what saved it was that you got updates every week with a new weapon every week and a new map pretty much every month for a long time. And that continued up through like the very last days of Splatoon 1 and up through like the first 2 years of Splatoon 2. People are okay with getting content on a drip feed basis if you're getting those drips within a reasonable time frame. It's way more annoying for something like Mario Golf or Mario Tennis, I guess is the better analogy, because Mario Tennis has been out for a while. Like, if you go back to that game now, it has a decent amount of content, but that's only because it's been out for like 2 years and they released stuff every 3 months for it. It's like, I don't want to have to wait 3 months for my minor pieces of content. If you're releasing them every week, then I'm okay with that, because it gives me a reason to turn the game on every week. If you're releasing it slower than that, you risk burning people out of the game before they even see everything that it has to go with it. You know, like I think that the drip feed was also more acceptable with Splatoon 1 than 2 because it was a brand new game. So everything that they released was brand new. So you were learning along with like everybody else. It was a little bit more annoying the first 2 or 3 months of Splatoon 2 when you were just kind of waiting for them to add some of the weapons that you'd had for forever in Splatoon 1. I mean, granted, it didn't take too long for that to happen, and they did keep the content updates at that fast pace. That didn't bother me too much then.
Hopefully with 3 being also on the same system, they can just, I know it's not as simple as copy paste, but just effectively, quote unquote, copy paste the stuff they plan on keeping and just have it already be there.
I think that at the very least, I hope that we have most of, if not all, of the base weapon types in at launch. You can have, the separate versions where it's like, instead of being the roller with the splat bomb and the splashdown, you have it with the curling bomb and the ink jet or whatever. You can release the variants later off, but I don't want to have to wait for the type of weapon that I like to play to come out. I just hope that they keep all of the base stuff in to start, and then they release variants at that same rapid fire rate once 3 comes out.
That kind of thing is by no means exclusive to Nintendo. It seems to be like the in vogue way to force a feeling of active socialness to a multiplayer game, to have stuff coming out little by little over time so that players have something to talk about or anticipate or something or other. Some games do it better than others, but I don't know. I just don't like the concept of it very much.
Again, just to reiterate, I'm fine with it as long as you're getting stuff frequently. If it's like one new thing every 3 months or every 6 months, then just like release an actual expansion pack.
If you had it ready enough that you could get it out that quickly, you could have just put it all out at once.
I mean, I have a thought about that, but that's a longer topic that we can save for next time. Yeah.